May 2025. An operation unlike any in Indian defense history unfolded under a veil of secrecy near the volatile western frontier. It was codenamed Operation Sindoor. But this wasn't just a retaliation. It was a message. A message that said, India is ready. Ready with an arsenal that's not imported, but innovated. Not borrowed, but built. Kinetic missiles, autonomous drones, and invisible electronic warfare tools came together in perfect sync to reshape the battlefield. And the world? They didn't just watch, they took notes. Because now, from Vietnam to Colombia, nations are lining up to buy Indian-made weapons. What happened during Operation Sindoor that stunned even India's critics? It all began with a wave of provocations. Enemy drones spotted at high altitudes, encrypted chatter among infiltrators, and mysterious jamming of Indian artillery coordinates near the line of control. But this time, India didn't respond traditionally. It activated a hybrid warfare doctrine, one refined in labs and war-gamed in simulation bunkers. The result? A coordinated kinetic, aerial, and electronic offensive across high-threat zones, including Poonch, Kupwara, and Samba. Operation Sindoor wasn't just another skirmish. It was a rehearsal of tomorrow's warfare. The first pillar of Sindoor's success was sheer kinetic force. Let's start with Akash, India's homegrown surface-to-air missile system. Akash didn't just protect Indian skies, it dominated them. In the fog of electronic jamming, Akash's Rajendra 3D radar scanned and tracked multiple targets, all weather, all angles. Within minutes, it had taken down multiple enemy drones and even neutralized incoming missile threats. Military analysts clocked its interception success at a stunning 96%. And it's not just India that's impressed. Vietnam is currently in talks to acquire it. Egypt, Armenia, and the Philippines have also expressed formal interest, each eyeing this as a reliable backbone for their air defense. Then came the roar of the Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launchers. These mobile beasts can unleash a barrage of 12 GPS-guided rockets in just 44 seconds, devastating enemy mortar nests, terror hideouts, and forward supply lines. Extended range versions of Pinaka struck targets nearly 90 kilometers deep, reshaping the terrain. Countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, and Nigeria are now actively reviewing Pinaka's battlefield data. But that wasn't the only highlight. Enter Bhargavastra. It's India's answer to drone swarms. 64 AI-enabled micro-missiles, launched together, each locking onto an individual target. A swarm to kill a swarm. On day 3 of the operation, Bhargavastra took down an entire wave of drones in a synchronized burst, within seconds. No wonder Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and Indonesia are requesting live trials for acquisition. But this war wasn't just fought with steel and smoke. It was also fought with silence and sensors. Nagastra-1, India's first indigenous kamikaze drone, soared high over enemy terrain, loitering silently for up to 30 minutes before diving into radar units and communication posts with surgical precision. With electro-optical targeting systems and man-portable launchers, these drones were deployed in terrain previously inaccessible to conventional forces. In one instance, a Nagastra drone destroyed a mobile command post in the Tangdar sector without triggering a single defensive alarm. Today, nations like the United Arab Emirates, Colombia, Uzbekistan, and Peru are exploring Nagastra as a cost-effective solution for both urban warfare and anti-terror ops. But the real revolution was seen in India's first-person view FPV combat drones. These drones, controlled by operators through real-time video goggles, flew low and fast, carrying shaped charges straight into armored vehicles and bunkers. They didn't just strike, they pierced. In narrow gorges near Rajouri, one FPV drone flew under a bridge and detonated inside a cave depot. That kind of precision. Priceless. And now, even Ukraine, Vietnam, and Israel are seeking joint development of these FPV systems, impressed by India's scalability and cost efficiency. But what truly turned the tide of Operation Sindoor was what you couldn't see. India's Himshakti electronic warfare system, mounted on mobile trucks, was deployed across key sectors. These units didn't just jam. They confused, intercepted, spoofed, and blinded. In sectors like Samba, enemy communications blacked out for hours, with UAVs crashing mid-air due to spoofed GPS signals. This mobile electronic fortress is now under consideration by Myanmar, Armenia, and Nigeria, who seek to counter electronic infiltration and drone warfare. And then, the secret weapon made its debut: Wave Strike. This high-power microwave system can disable drone electronics through invisible bursts of energy. During the operation, it was used to silently fry the circuits of 14 enemy UAVs in one sweep. No missiles, no bullets, no noise. Just electromagnetic supremacy. France and Israel are now eyeing collaborative development, while DARPA in the US has initiated exploratory conversations through Indo-US defense channels. And protecting the skies over key bases was the Integrated Drone Detection and Interdiction System, or IDNIS. This system combines radar, thermal optics, and RF jamming to create a 360-degree protective dome. It successfully stopped more than a dozen drone incursions into Pathankot, Kupwara, and Srinagar sectors. With proven success, countries like the UK, Mexico, and Sri Lanka are reviewing it for both military and civilian use. In the weeks following Operation Sindoor, over 21 countries officially expressed interest in Indian defense systems. From drones to jammers, from missiles to micro-missiles, India suddenly wasn't just a buyer. It had become a trusted exporter. Delegations from South America, Southeast Asia, and Africa visited labs in Bengaluru and Nagpur. And at global defense expos, India's booths were surrounded, not ignored. What makes India's defense offerings so attractive? 3 things: battle-proven performance, cost-effective production, and no political strings attached. Operation Sindoor wasn't just a tactical success. It was the formal unveiling of a new warfare model. A model where AI doesn't just guide, it decides. Drones don't just observe, they attack. Missiles don't just intercept, they anticipate. And where electromagnetic silence becomes the loudest deterrent. India proved it could design, build, deploy, and defend without foreign help. It's a shift from reactive strategy to preemptive precision, rooted in indigenous R&D. Operation Sindoor was more than a military maneuver. It was a declaration that India is not just a consumer of security tech, it's a creator. With over 20 nations ready to equip themselves with Indian weapons, this marks a new era where Made in India means battlefield ready. If you're proud of India's rise as a defense innovator, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this story with someone who still thinks India can't lead in high-tech warfare. This isn't the future of war. This is the present. And India built it. Jai Hind.